today's the day for another Young Justice review. While you're here, don't forget to like this video, subscribe to my channel, and hit that notification bell so you never miss a video. Also, check out and subscribe to my group channel, Comic Frontline, where the Frontline 6 come together every Tuesday night at 10 p.m. Eastern Time for Frontline Live to discuss all the latest news in geek culture and our top 5 comics of the week. Continue the conversation on the Frontline Discord. Be sure to check out ComicFrontline.com for the latest previews, reviews, news, and interviews, along with fun, unique features and daily updates. And don't forget to follow me, Comic Book Theater, Media Manus, and Comic Frontline on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram. Welcome to the Comic Book Theater, Outsiders, and this is Jay. I'm here for the finale of Young Justice Outsiders, which is also known as Young Justice Season 3. The 3 episodes I'm going to be talking about today are Episode 24, Into the Breach, Episode 25, Overwhelmed, and Episode 26, Nevermore. Alright, so let's go right into Episode 25. There's only an A story and a B story, and the B story is really small, so I'm going to start with that. And that's Lex Luthor and his Infinity Inc. You know, we see him plotting, setting up these little fights between other metas that we find out are controlled, just so that, the Infinity Inc. can outtrend the Outsiders and gain public opinion. Okay? So that's the B side. The A side, we find out that, while the Justice League and the A team took on, the team, not the A team. That's a whole different cartoon. But while they're taking on Great and Goodness, the team was actually, the Outsiders were actually working on their own leads, which was Vic hacking into the internet itself, like becoming a part of it, and locating a studio, an abandoned studio inside of Good's, main studios, and there's a lot of stuff going on in there. So they go there and they find Overlord and Granny, and they get trapped inside the Ghost Dimension. Through this, Gretchen takes Gar, puts him in the cage, and they go at it mano a mano, and Gar and her go at it full force. While this is happening, this allows Vic to go into the cyber world and take on Overlord there. He defeats Overlord there, shutting down the Ghost Dimension and snapping everybody back into the main world, where the team takes on Gretchen, while Blue Beetle and Cyborg take out Overlord in this world, which means that Gretchen is snapped back onto the orphanage where Overlord and Granny are, and Cyborg hops into that boom tube and follows them. He gets there and he sees that Gretchen and Granny are like coming together, one being there like whoosh, 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 and she's in excruciating pain, and through that, while she's down for the count for a couple of seconds, he, fires and knocks the thing off of Violet. Violet wakes up and is like, oh my god, I remember what I did. Oh, this is horrible. And she frees everybody using her rainbow power. And then they take out Overlord and teach Granny a little bit of lesson before she escapes. And Superboy reminds her right before she leaves that Vandal Savage told us to tell you that he sent us here. So that's pretty much the whole episode. And then we get them back at the team, the headquarters for the Outsiders, and Cyborg's offered a spot there. He agrees. Well, Vic is offered a spot there. He agrees, and he takes on the name Cyborg, and he gets his first booyah as Cyborg. I loved it. It was a great episode. Episode 25 is a little bit different because it has a couple different stories going on. So we have an A story, we have a B story, we have a C story, we have a D story, we have an E story. Alright, so I'm going to start with just like some of the lesser ones, and then I'm going to work my way up to the big one. Now I think it's the big story, the A story. Let's see. the reports are all coming in from all over the world, on media that, Granny Goodness and Gretchen are the same person, that Cyborg announced that the Outsiders, Cyborg's announced as a part of the Outsiders, and that, that they're the same person and all that, and Good Studio denies it all, but Gretchen Good is unavailable for comment, so that's interesting. And then we have Gar, Vic, and Violet are watching Leanne for Will. We'll get to that in a minute. And Metron arrives, takes everybody but Gar with him into space, and tells him he's proud of his grandchildren because they are children of his children's tech. So he said that they will be instrumental in the galactic war that's about to come if Darkseid doesn't kill them. Alright? And then we get Fred and Connor, and they drive, he's driving with Wolf, they're driving with Wolf in the bioship / bio, what would you, I can't think of the name of it, mobile home, what are they called, camper, okay, the bio camper, whatever it is, the camper that they were driving in. They drive to a place called Geranium City, and then we find out that Geranium City is actually not Geranium City, it's actually Geomorph City 2, a place where Double X and the rest of the Geomorphs are living in a society, and they use psychic illusions so passerbys don't think anything. They all appear as regular people, and like Double X is Dabney Donovan, which is a nice nod to the comic books and all that. So that's what they are, and Fred learns a little bit about the history of Geomorphs and how Connor liberated them all, and Fred decides he's going to stay in Geomorph City as Forager, and Double X kind of inspires and pushes Superboy, Connor. He tells him, you always see yourself as an individual. You need to, when are you going to break out of that and become one with the world? When are you going to liberate yourself and your brothers? Don't make us live in shadows. Bring us out into the world. Bring us out to light. Bring yourself out into light. So he kind of inspires him to do that. And then we find out, Brion is using the, the media with the talk circuit and all, because he is a celebrity, he is a royal, and he's using that to give good press to the metas and to the Outsiders. Gregory is in America. He arranged all this secretly. No one knows it. Tara does report to Slade, who reports to the Light, and they facilitate Bedlam's escape. Baron DeLam, also known as Bedlam, performs a coup and takes over Markov, and he pronounces himself as the king. And Brienne and Tara talk their brother Gregor into letting them go and save Markovia. Okay? Now, the big part of this episode for me is this is Valentine's Day, and Will is preparing a dinner for Artemis and him. And, he says, I know that there's this thing between us. I don't know if you felt it too. She's like, yes, I did. They kiss, and then she feels like this guilt, and she runs off to her bedroom, where she looks at this picture of her, Wally, and Bruce. And then she's like, she calls up someone, and we find out that it's actually Zatanna. They go underneath that big willow tree where she meets her father once a year so she can be with her father and not Dr. Fate. And once there, she tells her, Zatanna brings Rocket and Miss Martian with her, and she's like, I didn't ask for them, I asked for you. And she's like, they're not here for this, they're here for after. So it's kind of like what they did with Zatanna in the beginning of the season. And then we find out that Artemis actually wants to see Wally. She wants Wally to be brought back to Earth. And she's like, if you don't do that, I will seek out, any other dark magic person who will be able to do that for me. And Zatanna's like, I don't have that magic, blah, 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 blah. She's like, I don't want to hear it. I'll do it if you won't help me. So she says, I can't bring a dead person here, but I can bring you both to the, I can't think of the name of it, to Limbo. I'll bring you both to Limbo. Sorry, I couldn't think of the name of that for the life of me. So she brings them both to Limbo, and they had this whole, lifetime in a matter of moments. Where, their house appears and they're inside. Bruce is running around, and then, oops, they're married. She's got a ring on her finger. And then, oops, she's pregnant. And then, oops, she has the baby. And they're talking, and they're planning this, like, whole life. And, they both had degrees and, everything from school. They left the superhero life behind. They're having this perfect life that she envisioned. And Miss Martian and them come knocking on the door. And she's like, nope, can't go. And, she was told if she doesn't go by sunrise, she'll be trapped, her soul will be trapped there forever. So then Wally starts to talk to her and tells her, look, this isn't real. What's the name of the baby? Is the baby a boy or is it a girl? And she's like, it's. And he's like, exactly, it's an it. Because we always talked about having an it, but we never talked about what it would be, So this is not real. You have to go on. You have to live. You got a life out there, You got to do this. Do it for me, do it for us. And she agrees, and she, they have a final kiss and hug, and she leaves. And she doesn't know this, but we find out that it's actually was all part of Miss Martian. She created this grand illusion, and she used whatever was in Artemis's head. So all of it was real for Artemis, because that's what she envisioned it would be, but none of it was real. So we don't know Wally is in the afterlife. We don't know what happened to him, so that's really cool. So it leaves that whole thing open. The final episode is Nevermore, and this is basically the wrap-up episode, okay? So the mission is to go after, to liberate Markov. And Jefferson arrives at Oracle's and is like, look, you gotta tell me what's going on. And she's like, okay, this is what's going on. And then we see it all play out. And the team and the Outsiders help to liberate Markovia. The Light thinks that everything will go as they planned it, which it doesn't. The Light's plan is for Terra to publicly kill Beast Boy, showing that Metas cannot be trusted. The team then takes on Bedlam and his forces with Beast Boy, Cyborg, and Geoforce and Terra taking on their uncle, Bedlam himself. Geoforce traps him in molten lava, and he's trapped there in the rock, and he's saying, don't do this, and Geoforce is about to kill him, and the team talks him down, when he stops. Then Terra is told go, and she starts to lift up this big rock to kill him, and Beast Boy steps in front of it, and Terra's about to kill him when Artemis and the team come out, and they're like, you don't have to do this. Don't have to listen to Slade, Deathstroke. And she's like, how did you know? And they was like, we've been new. We knew since before you came to the team. Batman knew by watching Slade back on, when he invaded the island. And she was like, but, this and that. And she's like, look, the villains are always going to lie to you. But we wanted you to make the decision. We couldn't stop you because we want you to make that decision. That's something you have to do on your own. And Terra realizes that these people have been nice to her. They've been nothing but kind to her. And she agrees and she stops. And then the villain, Bedlam, escapes. Prince, Brianna is feeling really betrayed by everybody because they knew about this and they never told him. And he's about to, his uncle escapes. He does it again, and Viad arrives and tells him, you are, listen to the crowd below. You are you're the ruler. You have to do what you have to do. And he, all of a sudden, he kills his uncle, and the team is like, oh, and they're like, oh my god. And Terra, denounces it, and the crowd is cheering, King Brion, King Brion, King Brion, and Markovia, and they're saying that. And he takes on the role of king. He wants Terra to join him, but Terra says no, they need to turn themselves in. He's like, why should I turn myself in? I'm a king. I'm a hero. I do what the people want, and he allows Terra and the team to leave. And then we find out that Terra goes on this, she goes through the world court. She's left in her older brother's custody, Gregor, and on probation, where she has to work with the Outsiders to perform, basically community service. Then Nightwing gathers everybody, and before that, I'm sorry, Dr. Jace is also a part she's brought in as to help King Brion, and Viad is right there in his ear, which we find out that he's working with the light, and he has the power to control people through suggestion, psychic suggestion. So, and then we see Lex Luthor is forced to step down because Cyborg and Black Lightning expose all his secrets. He says, fake news, not real. And then Superboy steps out and is like, look, dude, this is all real. My name is Superboy. I was created by Cadmus Lab from genetic material from Lex Luthor and Superman. You don't believe me? Take my DNA. I'm not lying. I got nothing to lie. This is everything he did, and he exposes the genome wars and everything like that. And, the world rejoices. He's kicked out. Troya is set up to become his role, take on his role in the UN. And then we find out that, all the heroes are gathered. Every team, every hero is gathered, even virtually, they're all comms, everybody's there. And Black Lightning arrives, and he's told that, Wonder Woman and Aquaman are stepping down as the co-leads of the Justice League. Miss Martian stepping down as the lead of the team. And we got Black Lightning is told that he's got to run the Justice League now because they need him and his moral guidance, his moral compass. So he agrees, and he says everybody's welcome back, including Batman and Batman Inc., but they all got to follow his rules, no half measures, no secret teams, nothing. And he said the only secret team they were allowed is the team itself, because it's a good place for young heroes to, learn the craft and all that. But they won't be like a covert team. It will be more like a training squad. And the outsiders will work, underneath guard still. And it sounds like the team is going to be underneath Nightwing now. So that's how it all ends. And then we get this whole thing where, Forager reveals himself as, as an alien in school. He also joins the team. Tara joins the team. Outsiders. Tara joins the Outsiders. Forager joins the Outsiders. Superboy joins the Outsiders. Superboy and Megan are still engaged. Everybody's at this Bilbo's, and they're celebrating. They're all in their civvies. Even the wives and that stuff are there. And there's this mysterious waitress, and she has the Legion ring. So it could be Saturn Girl, setting up for Season 4. So, because Season 4 have to do with the Legion superheroes, and, we already know it's going to deal with some of what's happening on Apocalypse. So, this is a really good season finale. But, overall, I'm going to give these 3 episodes 4.5 stars, because 1 and 2 are not as strong as 3, because 3 had that whole heart with the whole Wally thing in it. But they were not. That was not as big on the main story as the first 2. So altogether, we're giving it 4.5 stars, and I say check it out. Let me know what you think in the comments below about all this craziness that happened in these 3 episodes. And I hope next year they go back to the 1 episode a week, and maybe a season finale like this be the big one, to do 3, because it's easier to review individually. But let me know what you thought about this season, what you thought about these episodes, what you want from Season 4. Let me know all those in the comments below, and until next time, we are still all Outsiders.